Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to this incredible interview, part of our series with the World Health Summit. My name is Lisa Blaisdell, and I am here with Dr. Seawald, otherwise known as Luke. And I'm really fascinated with your work. I've been on your website and have been reading a lot about it. And like you, I agree so much that so much of our disease process in the world is so related to our stress levels. So how did you, first of all, I just would love to hear in your words how you started in on this work and what was the catapult that led you down this road?
There's a couple things. First of all, it's a real honor to be part of this. Thank you for the invitation, Lisa. I think it began back in high school. I was intrigued with the Olympics. Mark Spitz was my hero, and so I swam, but I was intrigued really also with the mental attitudes about what differentiated someone from just competing versus a gold medal athlete. So I went on to college and then performed there as well on the swim team, and realized that what went on in your head was as equally important as the physical training.
Yeah.
And so then, I mean, we could also say that my personal background was of interest. I was raised by two abusive alcoholic parents, so I knew stress pretty well firsthand. Back then, we didn't talk about much, so and there's no dirty laundry. I've made peace. My parents have long since passed away. But I jokingly say that Freud would say that since I couldn't save my parents, I decided to save the world. But I'm a Jungian, and Jung would say that I chose my parents to do my work. So perhaps that's the way to go. But anyway, it's been a great ride for the past, I don't know, 30, 40 years.
Wow, that's incredible. So take me through, how you would help. I know that there's no typical client, I'm sure, because everyone comes with, their own stuff and their own needs. But can you give me an example of how you would work with someone?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm a health psychologist, but I'm not a therapist. I'm an educator. And so what I do is I teach skills. Everything in stress management is skills-based, either coping skills or relaxation skills. And so actually, I should further the story. I then went on to graduate school and was asked to teach a stress management class. And then that led to more classes. And interestingly enough, when I was in college, and I'm sure this goes on today, people would skip class. Of course, I never skipped class, but people would when I was teaching, I would have students bring their roommates, their girlfriends, their boyfriends, their parents to class. And I was kind of astonished, thinking like, wow, what's really going on here? But these weren't just skills for college. They were skills for life.
Right.
And they realized this. And so in terms of this, really the idea is that the more you practice, the better you become at this. Yeah. And so my approach to stress management is holistic, not just the physical aspects, which a lot of people really kind of narrow in on, because in the Western culture, we're into the biomedical model, but I'm not of that mindset. I'm of the holistic perspective that that wellness is the integration, balance, and harmony of mind, body, spirit, and emotions. And I was first introduced to this at an academic level with this wonderful luminary named Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She put death and dying on the map, but I heard her speak, several decades ago now, about this concept called holistic wellness. And she said, I'll never forget this. She said, the word health comes from a very old English word, which is hal, H-A-L. She said that means to be whole or holy. And she said, can't speak about health without invoking some sense of the human spirit. And I knew this intuitively, but it was so nice to have somebody say this.
Yes.
So the focus I've had in my teaching, in my books, in workshops and things, is to not just take a look at physical symptoms. Yes, they are important, and yes, they need to be addressed. But we need to look at the cause of the problem,
yes,
as well as the symptoms. So causes deal with coping techniques. Symptoms of stress deal with relaxation techniques. And so that's the bridge, if I kind of painted that picture there.
That's awesome. It's so important. And I agree with you that it is holistic. To take that whole, approach is foundational for everyone's well-being at the deepest level, I believe. I completely agree with you. So so you do lectures, you do workshops, you've obviously written books.
Uh,
and this is your primary way to get your message out to the body of humanity, to serve them. So what are some of the techniques that you use? I'm curious around the skills.
Personally, what do I use? You want to know that? And then
Yes.
I go globally. Okay, so I get up every morning. I walk my dog out in this nature park. So we have a little bit of pet therapy and a little bit of nature therapy going on. But
Mm,
I love being grounded in nature. And as you may know, a lot of people are begging for this because we've got such a wedge with technology. So I walk out there with my dog in the sunrise hour, come back, and then I meditate for half an hour, sit still. I have a meditation room in my house. I sit still and just try and clear my head, get rid of
yep.
monkey mind, as they say.
Yep.
I'm a real big fan of music therapy. In fact, because we're recording, I don't have any music playing, but usually I've got some nice instrumental music playing in the background. I swim every day.
Wow.
Every
So you
day.
still swim. That's so great.
Yeah. And then I taught nutrition for 12 years at the University of Colorado. And, I kind of, when you have the word health in front of your title, like health psychologist, I think you can do anything like, driver's ed, sex ed, nutrition, whatever. So I got asked to teach this class in nutrition. And I got to tell you, it'd been years since I took one, maybe decades. So I had a lot of catching up to do.
Mm-hmm.
And Boulder, the area where I live, has a lot of experts. So I bring a lot of guest speakers, but I learned a lot. And I also learned that our nutrition is essential for health. Obviously, there's no denying that.
Yes.
But people will eat when they're stressed.
Yeah.
And so I put a very big stress component into this class as well. And again, Lisa, people brought their girlfriends, their boyfriends, their parents to class to hear this stuff. And I think it was because a lot of people, when they teach nutrition, it's a very biochemical approach. And I
Right.
do the behavioral approach.
Okay. So
So
what is your overall philosophy then around nutrition, and do you have a particular, methodology or formula that you follow in general?
uh, well, I love to eat, so I love to cook. Those two kind of go hand in hand. Uh,
Yes.
I, uh, um, I love the motto by Marion Nestle, who says, if you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. When you
Yeah.
read food labels, there's things like 14 syllables long. So I love vegetables. I don't eat a lot of meat. I love vegetables. I love pasta. Who couldn't? Although I'm very careful with the whole wheat thing.
Right.
I like to keep things in moderation. That's the big thing.
Yep.
So yeah, I drink a
So
lot of.
that's what you'll steer people in the direction of doing, and focused on the whole food and nothing but the whole food.
Yeah, organic is the way to go. Decrease sugar. It
Yeah.
has a huge effect on the immune system. I would drive home from University of Colorado when I taught every night, and I'm thinking like, okay, what impact am I having on these kids? Well, how can I put this whole class into a soundbite? And what came to me was eat one meal a day for your immune system.
Mm,
Do that. You're better off than most people.
yeah.
And what I see, going back to the stress and disease connection, is that there's a huge connection between stress and disease. And
Yeah.
it's not just emotional, there's a huge part of it, but it's also how we treat our bodies. And nutrition plays a huge role. And we know that sugar definitely suppresses the immune system. So I thought, if I can get these kids to eat just one meal a day for the immune system, we're ahead of the game, at least for most people.
Yes. Absolutely. No, I love that. I love that. And then hopefully you can work up to two, and but with college kids, you have to take it one step at a time, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's such an age group where they're so, talk about void in nutrition and high in stress. So no wonder that was such a popular class, because I'm sure everyone was looking for tools as to how to, improve their health and feel better, and get through those years of school, which are grueling, and really starts to condition, I'm sure, these young adults into a stressful life.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't want that. So anything we do to kind of steer them back to balance, that's the idea.
Right. Right. No, that is phenomenal. So I know this is a kind of a complicated question. There's no easy answer, but how do you think that our society has gotten so out of balance in terms of health, the mind, body, spirit, emotion, from, the way that we eat as a society to the chronic stress that we're under as a society? I mean, you've studied this and you teach this, and where do you think some of the disconnects have happened over the last, especially, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, most recently, it's been the love relationship with addiction to technology.
Yeah.
I do a lot of talks right now in corporate America on digital toxicity. And I just got interviewed for a magazine article. This woman said, "Where does mindfulness fit in?" And I said, if I had to put it succinctly, I would say mindfulness is the antidote to digital toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I love technology. I'm talking to you on a computer right now. I love my Apple computer. I use it for my presentations. But I'm a real big fan of the idea of healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing that today with people. People are they're glued to their computers and their smartphones and things. In fact, one of the terms that one of my colleagues, Larry Dossey, calls it is the electronic leash. You're always attached to this thing. And so we know that it is problematic in terms of sleep cycles. It's problematic in terms of monkey mind if you're always grazing around what's going on.
Yeah.
There's an addictive process in terms of the dopamine squirts for the alerts that you get, and not to mention the whole FOMA thing with missing out, which is all ego.
Yeah.
So I heard a great quote, and I don't know who to give this credit to, but basically it said that our technology has outpaced our spiritual growth process.
Wow.
And it's so true.
Wow. That's a shame. That is not good. No, I agree with you 100%. And I'm raising young women, 20 and 17. And I can tell you it's disturbing to see, and we set boundaries and things like that. But I think, for these young generation of parents, these kids growing up looking at a screen is now the new norm.
That's all they know. I mean, you and I grew up in a time we knew that, life was very different and we could survive without that. But people actually go into panic attacks when they can't find their smartphone or if it's taken away from them in class.
Yep.
It's like, what's been done, I think, is there's been a huge experiment without a control group on society with technology. And again, I'm going to tell you that technology is not bad. It's how it's used. But
right.
Human behavior hasn't changed in the past, I don't know how many thousands of years. We still have an ego.
Right.
It still is wonderful for fight or flight. It's problematic elsewhere.
Right.
And so that is a bad combination. Like you said, we're like Pavlov's dogs. We're all being conditioned, with this ping or this alert, to someone out there want me. So right. That is huge with stress. And we've never seen that before. I mean, stress has always been part of the human equation, but the time we're living in right now is so fast and furious with change. Yeah. And with this, the technology, it's problematic. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, no, it is definitely problematic and worrisome because it's not, there's no one out there helping to bring it back into balance. It has to be self-regulated and it has to become a part of of our daily activity to put it down. And I am hopeful, and I don't know if you see this, but I am seeing more of maybe it's because I'm in this world of health and I'm mindful to my healthy practices, but a direction of going into more of the meditation, the quieting of the mind. And it seems like, popular high-end figures from Tony Robbins to, Deepak Chopra and Oprah, they're really trying to get this message of meditation and mindfulness into the mainstream of, busy people so that they can, have a platform in which to put the phone down. Although I have to say my meditation happens because of an app that I have. So it's, it's still being monitored that way, but it does seem as if there's more of a message anyway, whether people are implementing it or not, it's up to them. Right.
Yeah. And I think, as with any kind of addictive behavior, at some point you hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Start digging down below, or you say enough is enough. And
right.
Who now are saying, I think enough is enough.
Yeah.
And, it's not going to be good for everybody. I mean, it's good for everybody. It's not going to be, everyone's going to change.
Right.
But it is, we're seeing a sea change going on in culture, it has to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah. There's too much at risk because there's just too much disease in this society. And I'm hopeful that, by the time my kids are parents and, have some choices to make around how all this works for them, that they can be more in the norm of where there's a healthy balance with the phone and a healthy balance with the diet. And, some of the challenges that we have now have been addressed. So, and thanks to practitioners like you and educators like you that are out there, you know, making a difference and getting this message across. We need more people like you, Luke. It's really, I love talking about this because I agree that the mental attitude and what goes on in our mind, it's so, so powerful. And I think so many people just don't feel that they have any control.
Yeah. You know, the big issue right now is lack of sleep. I think over half Americans claim to be insomniacs, and we now know because of the technology, the blue light coming from the screen.
Yeah.
Someone say to me, you know, should I try and get one of those apps that dims the blue light? I'm like, yes, and
yes.
Put the phone down 2 hours before you go to bed. Don't look at it because you're still gonna have monkey mind.
Right.
I mean, it's not just
2 hours. That's the standard.
Yeah, it's called a media curfew, and they say basically, they say if nothing else, at least 1 hour, but I like to err on the side of caution and say 2.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I can't imagine. That's challenging for some people. I'm sure some people, I don't sleep with my phone in my bedroom. I won't unless I've got teenagers that I'm monitoring out and about on a Saturday night, but that's rare. I don't think most people will do that right now.
I know, and I definitely want to try and go back a few pages to analog alarm clocks under your pillow for all kinds of reasons. I mean, whether it's the batteries that can blow up, lithium batteries, or the electromagnetic energy patterns coming out to affect your brain.
Yes.
There's been a huge wake-up call about some of the potential problems with technology. And again, I'm going to say it's not bad. It's just how we deal with it. Right. One thing I'll tell you, though, is I watched this great documentary about cell phones and such, and they said the most important thing you can do is turn off your Wi-Fi router when you go to bed. Put it on a power strip and turn it off, because the Wi-Fi router also emits a vibration which basically negates the pineal gland's ability to make melatonin.
Wow.
So when I give talks on a good night's sleep in corporate America, I say, if you get nothing else out of this presentation, put your Wi-Fi on a power strip outside the bedroom and then turn it off. You don't need it. You're asleep. You don't need it.
Right. Wow, that's powerful. Well, I have learned so much from you, Luke. I really, really love this conversation. I want to be mindful of your time. But thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. And I just so appreciate the work that you're doing and the message that you have, because I truly think we have a lot of work to do in this area. And I hope that more people can find you and read your books and come to your workshops. What do you have coming up that we can share with people if they'd like to dive in and learn more about what you're teaching?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you a little story first. When I got done listening to Kubler-Ross, I walked up to meet her, touched the robe and everything. And she came to me and she said, what's your name? And I said, my friends call me Luke. And she said, Luke, what's your passion in life? And I said, everything you're talking about, the integration, balance, and harmony of mind, body, spirit, and emotions. And she said, I need your help. And I said, well, sure, what? And she said, would you help me and people like me reintroduce the ideas of human spirituality back into healthcare, back into health education? And I said, sure. And that's what I've been doing for the past 35 years or so. But when I saw her before she passed away, I went down to her house in Arizona. She had suffered a stroke, but she said, come on down. And then I got to talk to her, and she said, what are you doing now? And I kind of told her what things been going on. And she said, it's time for you to teach others what you're doing. So I do 2 workshops a year. It's a holistic stress management workshop for the trainers. It's like train the trainers.
Oh, yeah.
It could be for anyone in the allied health professions. I have a lot of nurses, a lot of social workers, but I have massage therapists. I have college professors, and on a rare occasion, I get a physician, which is great.
Yeah.
I do that. And then also every October, I do a retreat for anybody. It's called the Fall Mountain Retreat. It's either up in Estes Park or Vail. This year, it's in Estes Park. But I basically am just one of many people, cast of thousands, hopefully more, trying to shift the focus from fear to love.
I love that. That is the key. If we can just make that shift. Yes. No, that is great, Luke. Well, thank you so much. I'll make sure that everyone gets to your website so they can find out about these upcoming workshops through your website.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Well, keep on keeping on what you're doing. I appreciate your work, and thank you so much for making time for me. I really enjoyed talking with you today.
My pleasure. Likewise. Take care.
Thank
Thanks. Thanks for.
you.
Yeah.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great day.